In the movie The Wailing, a small town is being besieged by some illness, and at the same time there's an outsider that came to the village. Suspicions are leveled against the outsider that he's the cause, but unfortunately no negotiations or communication can really happen because the outsider is a foreigner and doesn't speak the same language. So as such, they can't talk to each other, just talking by each other. And the director said that was a conscious choice. He didn't want to give the impression that things can be resolved amicably. And you can imagine if some aliens were to come down now and there was some conflict. Without any means of communication, we would have no hope of resolving anything, right? Because we can't talk and reason and compromise. In recent times, for the past couple of years, the Wokists have adopted a new tactic, one that will prevent any form of compromise from being reached, and that is that they simply now speak a different language. They do not conceptualize things the same, they don't mean the same things when we use the same words. Now, on a video, a commenter made a point about a game called 13 Sentinels. I've never heard about it. It's an Atlas game, apparently it was on the Nintendo Switch. And he said that there was a line in it that shows that it was, well, he said that it was modified in translation, but this Reddit post said it wasn't modified in translation, but that is actually beside the point. One of the characters is Alphabet. Now, because I didn't know anything about this game, I had to go and do some research. So the first character is this Okino, and he's a ladyboy. He likes to dress up. And you see here, his romantic interest is this dude. So upon trying to verify things, the first thing that came up was 3 years ago, this thread. And the title is SJW Pandering and Bad Localization in 13 Sentinels. The comments in this thread all seem to agree with this sentiment, right? I'm going to read the first three, but the post has then the first two replies. The fact that this is a topic that some people actually think is relevant to this game is ridiculous. The irony. Because the alphabet business is actually itself not relevant. There is no need for it to be in the game, but anyway. No Kotaku in Action and YouTube comments. They did not change that character to be non-binary, nor is an agenda being pushed. It is literally just a reference to binaries existing, and the character is literally just a dude in a skirt. They are from 2105. It's not as if the game is pretending that the 80s were progressive and woke. Is it kind of an awkward line? Sure. Was it probably just one person who wanted to insert it for self-service? Most likely. I'm not going to pretend that it is a great line or that it is welcomed representation. It'd be better if it wasn't in the game at all. But to boycott an entire masterpiece of sci-fi storytelling for a single line that accomplishes absolutely nothing, even if there was a woke agenda, is why people look at gamers with this disdain as a community of toxic, homophobic, I should probably change, homophobic, transphobic, and misogyny. You never cared about 13 Sentinels in the first place. You're just using this as an excuse to complain about SJWs ruining your games. Please kindly stop playing our game. Then first comment, yeah, I've seen comments about this on social media, and while I actually played the game myself and it really didn't have much significance to the story other than that one scene, sometimes I think people have too much time on their hands. And this one, no. Just outrage culture. Oh, the irony. Best to pay no mind and stick to what you know, having first-hand experience of the thing. The Okino Takatoshi romance subplot is absolutely part of the original script, as we discovered from the anniversary stream. Boycotts don't matter. Disney, Bud Light, and Target would like to have a word with you. They aren't the consumer for this product. Thin-skinned weaklings either patting themselves on the back because George Kamitani called Jason Schreier Alphabet, or crying into their diapers because of some minor infraction of the holy union of marriage between one man and one woman. There's no pleasing these people. Oh, the irony. It's their one thing. Their whole deal is being outraged at anything perceived, at any perceived assault on the male dominant, Christian dominant agenda. The same people demand racism in America was fixed in the 60s. I don't, who demand this. So is that good, or is he saying this? But I don't understand what that line is. Who cares what they think? The world they want is not a fun place. You know, this person could really be talking about himself and anyway. Aside from that, they both exist and roam the streets, and we have to deal with them in real life. They are the ones missing out. We are still empowered to evangelize to our friends and loved ones about this amazing experience that is now and blah 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 blah. Alright. Both the OP and this and the third retard push the idea that their beliefs are not political. Yours are. Right? Because they even said here that it's a male dominant Christian agenda. I have no idea what Christian come to this, but anyway, so it is the idea of one political side wants to maintain interactions that actually support and promote the continuation of our species. The other political ideology want to promote and advocate and support sexual behavior that will, if mass adopted, will actually lead to the extinction of our species. It is absolutely political because it is pushed by one political ideology and rejected by another. But they now are no longer speaking the same language because we can no longer even agree on what is political. So when you say don't put politics in games, what they hear is, okay, but my stuff isn't political, so I can't put it in game then. Your stuff is political, so you can't put it in games. There's no compromise that can be made under those situations or circumstances. And they also said that if just one scene that doesn't affect the story, right, in this however many hours of games, it's silly to not support it because of that. All right, well, here's the thing. If that game had a scene that bashed funnymanism, bashed alphabet, just one scene, doesn't affect the ultimate story. Let's say that I'm named Okino actually said, you know what, these alphabet things are an abomination, so keep everything else in the game the same, but make Okino said that these alphabet things are an abomination, and make the other guy Takatoshi make him a woman. Would these same people say, you know what, the game is amazing and this one line doesn't change the awesome thing, and therefore if you boycott the game for this one line, it is bad? I sincerely doubt it. So what if a game now had a character that was a pedophile? So exact same game, but let us say that okay, I believe Okino is, well, they just said 20s and this is 30s. That's very vague. So me not having any information on this game, this could be 21 and 39. Right? But let us say that this relationship started when the guy was when Okino was said 15. Let us even say 12, right? 8 years ago. So he would have been 12. And if you're using 30, so mean 39, he would have been 31. And I can do this because they just said 30s and 20s, right? So let's say that they met, because in this thing they said that they met sometime before some nanomachine invasion or something like that, right? So we do, at least right now, based on this profile, I don't know how long that is, but you can extrapolate and change the time period as you see fit. So keep the same story, keep the same alphabet, keep the same everything, just make it that they met 8 years before. So he's 12 and he is 31. Now you enter the realm of pedophilia. Do these people still support and do these people still stand by the stance of, well, it is this one awkward line that doesn't change anything, and it just what is the retard they say? It's a perceived assault on male dominant Christian agenda, and therefore if you were to boycott this game that pushes pedophilia, you are pedophobic. Would that apply here? Somehow I doubt it. So if your argument, if your philosophy is inconsistently applied, it's not a philosophy, it's an excuse, and you have no morals. Now, the third retard, he literally said that even though it's not political, it is pushing a political agenda because it is an infraction on marriage, and it is opposing male. And by the way, how is it opposing male dominant theme when both characters are male? How that work? And in that regard, the first retard said that you also homophobic, transphobic, and misogyny. All right. None of the characters there think that they are women, so it's not a transphobic issue, and there's no women involved, real or imaginary. So it's not so this is what these people do, you know. Once you are accused of one social phobia or malady according to them, you're eligible to be branded as having all of them. So even when there are literally no women involved here, the two characters are two males, and two males who know that they are male, just that one of the males put on a dress. So the last two accusations here literally make no sense, but they still do it anyway, and people support this. So what is a phobia as it relates to humans? It's a psychological disorder characterized by anxiety attacks, a mental disorder. So when these people are calling you this phobic and that phobic, they are saying you have a mental disorder. Now here's the funny thing. These are the very same people who claim to want to destigmatize mental disorders. But when it comes to attacking you to support some abnormal, weird, freakish thing that they like, their weird fetish, they have no problem weaponizing the stigma against mental disorders to attack you. So nobody is if anything, the people who are calling you phobic are the phobics, because they're the ones who are deathly afraid. They're the ones who like to say that their lives are in danger. And what is a phobia? An irrational fear. And then I said misogyny deals with the hatred of women, and there are no women involved in this scenario. So none of these ad hominems even make any sense. But you see, the problem now is because they don't speak the same language, you can't get through to them. Now, the third retard here said that boycotts don't matter. Now, maybe 3 years ago that would have had more relevance, but it's only relevant in the sense that more people thought that way, right? Because they would say boycotts don't matter in an attempt to make people who they don't want to boycott not boycott. But if it was a boycott for some pro-alphabet cause, they would support it and say, yes, we must do the boycott. It is a moral thing to do. For crying out loud, the same thing happened with Hogwarts Legacy. And from what I understand, the game even has a trans character in it. So it still is woke. It's just that the creator isn't, or the creator for the universe isn't as woke. And leftists all over the place try to boycott it. And there's no talk about boycotts don't work. Now, the last retard was also downplaying the importance of marriage and attacking someone's religion. Now, you see, here's the funny thing. If you attack Judaism, you're anti-Semitic. If you attack a Muslim, you are Islamophobic. You attack a Christian, and you're virtuous. Christianity is the only religion that people can attack and not also have a new made-up word to insult their character. The privilege. One of the purposes of marriage is to create a stable unit, a stable system, a stable situation, environment for children to grow up. Those who do not understand this concept, they are the ones who are more likely to buy into all this woke nonsense and alternative lifestyle, because they don't understand the purpose of marriage. And here's the funny thing now. I could make the argument that the same thing that they're supporting, the two funny man them, actually reinforces the importance of a stable family unit. You see, doing a little bit more research into it, for Aquino, I saw this, that apparently in this universe, there are no families. Males and females just donate their gametes, and children are created in a test tube. and they were born, and as soon as he was born, he was sent to the educational training and working facility, and that facility had some harsh conditions and expectations. So this is almost like child labor, right? So men and women do not have families anymore, and under normal conditions this would be seen as horrific, that children are denied a family, denied a mother, father, safety, security, well-being, and they are immediately pushed into training and working facility with harsh conditions. And the only reason why this works is because they have no parent to stand up for them. Notice that in the US, whenever, or right now, whenever the school board tries to push some alphabet thing onto the students, the parents stand up and say, no, you aren't going to do this to my child. But what if the parents weren't there? Because the parents aren't there, the state now controls your child. And your child is simply a means to an end. There is no love there for the child. Now, it's very evident that these people don't have any compassion toward children, because if they did, they wouldn't also be supporting killing the children in the womb. So you have to be fair and say, well, these people obviously have no compassion for children, so don't expect them to understand this. However, it still doesn't change the fact that one could argue that this is a dystopia. Children don't have any interaction with their parents. They are controlled by the government as soon as they are born. They are put to child labor, and in that situation, under those circumstances, they lose their way and engage in some abnormal, reproductively infertile sexual behavior. I could make the argument that this shows the importance of having parents. But to wrap things up, some of the arguments that were being presented here is that some of the issues here is that they no longer identify their political beliefs as political. And as such, when you argue about not having politics in games, that will never get across to them, because they have now lobotomized themselves to not be able to differentiate politics from actual facts and reality anymore. They also have no problem misusing terms and warping definitions. We all know this from let's say man and woman and woman and man, right? But it literally shows that they are NPCs. They can't think, analyze, and react to something in the moment. It's like they have a set of pre-written instructions that if this, then that. As the case here, the moment someone doesn't support some woke thing, they will call you every type of mental disorder in the book, even when the subject of the mental disorder are not relevant. You have an issue with two men, somehow that means that you hate women. That is the type of logic that you need to be a wokist. And isn't it funny that attacking someone's sex is fine if it's male, attacking someone's religion is fine if it's Christian, but yet they're the ones who will blast you for being sexist if you attack someone's sex if it's female, or being anti-Semitic or Islamophobic if you don't support those religions. So even though this is 3 years ago, many of these problems and arguments still persist. So I just wanted to make a video that quickly addressed some of it. Well, quickly. I want to make a video that addressed some of these.